Alright, Arms is coming in strong this expansion, so let's get rid of those tests of mights and the spinning whirlwinds. I'm two-time CE Raider Ardrith. Now let's get into the talents, rotation, gear, and consumables. For our raid builds, we are finally free of test of might, so we no longer have to cater to those windows of just spamming our rage abilities. Instead, we will be maintaining our bleeds, using our abilities on cooldown, and executing as much as we can to kill those bosses. Our multi-target build is quite similar. However, in the general tree, we take the path for Thunderclap, and in the spec tree, we take the path for Cleave to hit those multi-target mobs. For Dungeons and Mythic Plus, Arms Warrior has very consistent AoE damage, so we're going to focus on that using Cleave, Thunderclap, and Sweeping Strikes whenever available. And by some magnificent stroke of luck, our hero talents are the same for all of these builds, meaning Blade Storm will always be viable in single target and AoE. And once you hit 3 stacks of marked for execution, execute becomes a high priority. Speaking of priorities, let's get right into our rotations. For our single target opener, we want to charge right into the boss and rend to get our bleed up. Then we can do Colossus Smash, Avatar, Roar, and Mortal Strike in order to get that on cooldown. Blade Storm afterwards, and then another Mortal Strike. After our opener, we want to ensure we maintain rend on the target and utilize our cooldowns as available, such as Thunderous Roar and Colossus Smash. Meanwhile, we want to use our execute and overpower procs when available, but while doing so, we want to ensure that Mortal Strike stays on CD and used as much as possible. Our execute phase is quite similar to the standard priority, however, we will be executing until we ensure we have 2 stacks of Executioner's Precision, and then Mortal Strike or Blade Storm will be our top priority. For our dungeon and multi-target opener, it is very similar to the single target. We are just replacing the single target abilities with the AoE ones. For example, we're going to charge right in, Thunderclap to apply our AoE rend, Warbreaker for AoE Colossus Smash, Avatar, Thunderous Roar, Cleave, Blade Storm, and then Cleave. For our priority first, we want to ensure as many enemies as possible have the Thunderclap debuff of Rend. After that, we want to use our Sweeping Strikes on cooldown, as well as Thunderous Roar and Wardbreaker. Then our top priorities become Cleave and Overpower. And lastly, we've got Executes when they proc, and Mortal Strikes will be the final bit. With that being said, let's get into the stats and gear that you're going to want for your character. For stats, I recommend Strength, so going for item level is your biggest opportunity to power up. After that, we want armor pieces with crit and haste as their focus secondary stats. Mastery and verse are below that, but somewhere equal to each other. That being said, when you pick your gear near the end, item levels all matching secondary stats. You gotta sim your gear if you want accurate results. Without that, this guide will help a little bit, but to get the best results, you have to sim your own character. However, what I can recommend is some decent trinkets for you to use. First up, we have the Arakara Sack Brood and the Skarmorak Shard trinkets. Both of these line up nicely with the cooldowns of Arms Warrior and the stat requirements of Haste. Once Grim Patrol becomes an accessible dungeon, the Mark of Cardros is also an accessible trinket because it matches up with the cooldown of Avatar and will give you a bigger burst but less consistent damage. From the raid, the Treacherous Transmitter and the Mad Queen's Mandate seem like promising trinkets. However, these are from the final 3 bosses, so it will take time to get those, and I recommend getting the dungeon ones first so that your raid is well prepared. As for the consumables, I recommend going for main stat and avoidance for enchants, as well as crit and haste for wherever possible with gems and ring enchantments. For the remaining consumables, Wowhead has an extremely detailed list on what you want for your warrior, and I'm going to post a link for that in the description below. And lastly, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful at all, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to answer any questions you have about Arms Warrior. And you can catch me streaming almost every day on Twitch after 6 p.m. Eastern. And if you'd like to expand your warrior knowledge, I made a Fury guide on that one as well. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.